Hey, Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well through the scriptures, peace to the hopeful elect. This lesson will be a quick testimony about vengeance. All right, I'm going to read Romans 12 and 19. It says, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. And basically, you don't take matters into your own hands when dealing with certain situations, like, for example, with me, for some reason or another, this guy at my job done lied to the boss and told her that I was going on a 45-minute break, and we only get like a 10-minute break. We get 10 minutes in a lunch. And for some reason or another, he done lied and said I took 45 minutes now. The job I work is not interdependent with other my coworkers. So if I was gone for 45 minutes, that didn't affect you. All right? If I was gone for 45 minutes, that wasn't your business. And I wasn't gone for 45 minutes. So it comes to my attention that, this guy lied on me or whatever. And, I'm battling back and forth about, approaching him about it, not necessarily in a niggardly way, but just, basically defending myself. But, the spirit, like, nah, let the Lord deal with it. And sure enough, not even, 10, 20, 30 minutes later, he got dealt with, to the point where now his job in jeopardy of getting fired. All right. So it brings us to, this is Psalm 21:11. It says, For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they were not able to perform. All right. And that's what he did to me. But when you jump to Psalm 9, let me see. This is Psalm 9 and let me see. Nine and 15, it says, The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, and the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Now, this is talking about primarily Esau, the device that they got against the children of Israel. But this applied to that individual too. He was taken into his own device, But this is I wanted to read some. I went to the commentary for Romans 12 and 19. All right, because when you read, but rather give place to wrath, it's like when you read that part says give place to wrath. It may seem like to take vengeance in your own hands, but I'm gonna read from this paragraph right here where you see the arrows at. It says, but rather give place to wrath. All right. It says, either to a man's own wrath, stirred up by the provocations given him. Let him not rush upon revenge immediately. Let him sit down and breathe upon it. Let him give space unto it as the Syriac, which may signify time as well as place. And that's what I did. That's what the scriptures commands you to do, because I was furious. I said my piece, but the scripture also say, be angry and sin not, because it could have blew up out of proportion. Like if me and him would have had an altercation, no matter how delicately I would have tried to approach the situation. But just by me trying to defend myself in a particular, certain situations, you just gotta seemingly take the L, because it just seemed like we taking the L. Just like when you read Wisdom of Solomon. You read Wisdom of Solomon 5 and no. Wisdom of Solomon 3, but that was good too. Wisdom of Solomon 3, verse 1 and 2. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and their going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. So ultimately, the men of the Lord and the Lord's elect gonna get the last laugh, man. It might seem like, we taking L's now, but we what they say, you lose the battles, you lose certain battles, but you win the war. And now we in a time where like that little win in my eyes, because I was happy, I was like, yeah, you intended evil against me, and now it returned against you. And I follow what the scripture says, and then the Lord did what he did. And I was happy, It says, verse 4, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And this is the greatest victory, the kingdom of heaven being given to the Lord's servants. The Lord's servants inheriting, all the riches and the glory for what? For being patient and for being and enduring. It says, although they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for itself. And the Lord approved you. You'll be in certain situations, and they'd be like, how will you execute the scriptures? There's many examples in the scriptures about how to deal with life situations. And then when you deal with them, when they present themselves to you, what you gonna do? All right, just like the scripture of Romans speaks about. Let me see, Romans 13 and 5. It says, no, let me see, 15 and 4. Says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So all these accounts of the scriptures and these different Psalms and Proverbs and the book of Sirach and the prophecies, they was written for our learning. All right, the Israelites, what? That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have both. Right, patience. And you go into the word patience, it means suffering. All right. So you got the examples, like the scripture says, take the prophets for an example of suffering and affliction. Right, in fact, let me get that. Let me see, what is that? James 5, I believe. Pardon me, hold on. James 5, 5 and 10, it says, take, my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. You have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying list to the hopeful elect. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash, Wa Abba Babal.